Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you for joining us here in Fire Above Rubies today. This group is growing so quickly, and it blesses me every day to see you adding your friends. Make sure that you have their permission before you add them. You can find videos from this group on my personal wall, and you can share it to your wall with an invite to your friends and see who would like to join us. Today we are diving into our next to last fruit of the Spirit. We are on gentleness. Now, gentleness is defined as softness of action. This is a trait that is not very common or well looked upon necessarily by women and for women in our day and age. As a Christian woman, many of us can put on a pretty genteel persona at church, right? We've all been guilty of it at some point or another. But it's when we're alone with our families, it's when we are talking with someone who's in service to us, whether a cashier or a waitress or someone along those lines, or when we're dealing with someone we maybe don't necessarily like, that either gentleness begins to flow out of us, or you begin to see cracks in this facade that we've created of having a gentle spirit. Another definition of gentleness, and I like this one, is having only gradual inclines. Now, that might seem like a little bit of an irrelevant definition for our purposes here, but think about it this way. If you're flying off the handle consistently, if you go from 0 to 60 in a situation, in a heartbeat, if everything's fine and you're on top of the world and then suddenly the world is falling apart and nothing is right in a heartbeat, then you can bet that you need to work on gentleness in your life because you're lacking those gradual inclines and you're someone who's quick to anger, quick to answer with a harsh word. Do you remember that Proverbs 31 woman we were recently talking about? Well, verse 26 says, when she speaks, her words are wise and her instructions are kind. This is the picture of a gentle spirit to me because who is she instructing? You don't instruct someone over you. You don't instruct your friends and your peers. You instruct your family. You instruct someone that you're leading. And when she does this, when she's in a leadership moment, she is kind and wise, and to me that speaks of gentleness. I truly believe that the wisdom we spent so much time talking about last month in the book of Proverbs, so much time saying we needed to seek it and to find it, is the key to a gentle spirit. James 3:17 says that the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. It is the wisdom from above that breathes these things through us. If you want to produce good fruit in your life, you need to first be seeking God's Spirit, to be filled with God's Spirit, and then be seeking His wisdom. As I said a moment ago, gentleness is not a trait that many women in our day appreciate. A lot of women see gentleness as weakness, when in fact it's quite the opposite of that. Having gentleness of your spirit requires strength. It requires self-control, which we're going to dive in our last fruit of the Spirit tomorrow. Having gentleness requires you to have strength. It is when we seek that wisdom from the Lord that we find that strength. We find that gentleness of spirit. We can at times, as Christian women, be deceived into believing the lies of the world around us, and we begin to think, what if I'm not taken seriously if I have a gentle spirit? How will I get anything accomplished at work or at home? How can my voice be heard if I am gentle? Would you think these things about Jesus? Matthew 11:29 says, take my yoke or my bond of relationship upon you, and let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Jesus is humble. Have you begun to see yet that through these fruit of the Spirit, these fruit of the Spirit represent the heart? They come directly from the heart of Jesus. When you pray and you ask God to help you produce these fruit of the Spirit, you are praying and asking Him to help you emulate and to give you the heart of Jesus. Every day that you grow in the fruit of the Spirit, you look a little more like Him. Your challenges today are to read 1 Peter 3, 1 through 12. This has instructions for both husbands and wives and all Christians in general, but talks about us needing to have a gentle spirit. Secondly, check yourself this week. Check yourself this week. When things are getting the best of you, are you soft in action? Are you having those gradual inclines, not flying off the handle? Pray and ask God to help you be like Him, to be humble and gentle at heart. I hope that you've had a wonderful time in our lesson today, in our devotional today. If no one has told you lately, you are loved and you are precious, you are valuable, and your worth is far above rubies. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you all tomorrow.